Thank you very much, Marilise. Thank you so much, Gertrude. Thank you for sharing this story. And I was just thinking that I will just change my presentation because it was so touchy, and I think it's so deep that it's really hard to straight away jump to the really strong entrepreneurs and performance conversation. But I will try anyway. And yeah, I'm really happy to be here with you because I can see you're all amazing women, and I would love to acknowledge you because to spend time here, I know we all have, kids probably or family or other things we can do, but we are here to support each other. And I think that's absolutely amazing. And I love what Gertrude said when she said that we are one. And I always said, because my programs are Quantum Leap, that means I always say we are quantum, we are one, we are all connected. That means our intentions are always transformed to each other. We feel each other. And I think that's so important to be here from the heart and speak whatever just come up, just don't focus on yourself, focus on others, because other people here are so important. And I would love to start with the topic out of this amazing thing, probably because it's strategic thinking, but I will try to explain it the way that we will be able to kind of, digest that from that emotional state to a little bit more pragmatic state. And why I'm talking about that, because I know business is super hard, it's tough. Business is so challenging. And sometimes people think that, oh, you know what, I don't want to work that hard, I'm going to open up the business, because they don't want to work from 7 till 5 or 9 to 5. But it's not true. The hardest thing is to be on entrepreneurial journey. And hardest thing here is to speak. I know there is the thing that we are more scared from public speaking than actually death. There's so many people that are so scared, and you are here to share. I think that's amazing. That means we are all brave here. I will take it that way because that's great. And we are in business. And as a leader, you need to be so strong all the time. And sometimes we feel overwhelmed, and it is overwhelming. And I really would love to use this opportunity to be here today to just really start to more being and thinking different, right? Not just doing. And what I mean by that is sometimes we cover all roles in business. We do HR, marketing, we do our social media, we do our sales, but same time we are coaches, consultants, or maybe hairdresser. We're doing so many things in our business at the beginning, and because we're starting usually as a solopreneurs. That means all roles are on us. That's pretty tough. And what we do, because it's so many things we need to do, we are implementing, doing all the time. That means instead of like doing business, we are busy, or we're doing busyness. And that can come to the point that we can burn out, we can feel burnout, we can feel exhausted. And I would like to show you a few things how we can start to think about business a little bit differently and about us a little bit differently. And it will actually help us to work less, to work smarter, to work with purpose, and not just chasing all the time, chasing money, chasing clients, chasing more and more. And I will start with a question. It's really strange. People are looking at me when I'm asking those questions, but it's a great example to understand how we can think. What do you think is easier? Question number one, like think about a bird. Question number one, what is an example of a bird? Question number two, what is a bird an example of? Well, most people say probably question number one, because it's super easy. You have really straight answer, like you can have pigeon, you can have magpie, you can have a few different examples of the bird. And question number one is how 99% people actually thinking. And that's safe thinking, safe questioning. Most people doing that. And the second question is a little bit risky because we can get more options. We can have more answers and we can go everywhere. We just don't really have that straightforward answer. And it's more risky. And that's inductive thinking. The easy one is deductive. That's usually what we do. But where is the business growth? It's actually inductive thinking. That means we ask different questions. We ask funny questions sometimes. We ask strange questions, but the answers are different. That means when you ask simple question, you will never grow. We will never answer, never get more answers or more options and opportunities. My friend shared a quote with me that was amazing and just kind of light up. Like, I should talk about critical alignment model, because that's basically 4 steps or 4 different frames we can think, and we can use it in relationships. We can use it in business. And he said 10 men wisely led will defeat 100 without a head. That means better stop ourselves not doing and just really start to think about like what we can do, how we can do it differently. And critical alignment model is probably my favorite one. I will try to do it without like confusion, because it's when it's something new. I probably, if you can make notes, will help. But if it's something new, we kind of try to really hard, to think about different way about things. But there are 4 things. It's frame of 4 things or 4 steps we need to consider when we ask questions or where we do think. And the first one, when we should come from, is environment. The second is structure. The third is implementation. And 4th is people. And what I mean by that, we are all coming from implementation. And that was what I was explaining. We are doing. But for example, what is the purpose of being here? What are you expecting from this meeting? What is the purpose of talking to each other? What is the purpose of your activities during the day? We don't ask those questions because we are coming from implementation. That means waking up in the morning, we need to be busy. We are doing meetings. We are trying to do some sales conversations, or we are doing some other stuff. But are we really questioning that? Environment is where we should start. This is what we're creating here. Environment is the quality. Environment is the mindset. Environment is that values and beliefs we have, standards we are bringing. Like, you're all professionals here today. You brought the standard. And I think that's amazing. We setting up the standard for other people, for other women, for our kids, for parents. And that's important because sometimes we don't think about that. Like, okay, what standards I'm bringing into the conversation? Sometimes we are at the meetings like this and we are not listening. We are multitasking. We are not fully in because it's probably not that important. That means that's maybe question why you are here. What is the purpose of that? That means when you're thinking about, let's say I will give you an example because that will be probably the best one example. I'm coming to the company, for example, or business owners, and I'm asking what they do. And they do $1 million or $2 million revenue a year. And they're like, oh, we are super busy. We don't know what to do. Like, we kind of don't have structure and system. Like, we need you to come in to do my structure and system. And I'm coming back and I'm saying, you don't need structure and system. You need first environment. And environment is vision, is the goal, is something we want. How we can do structure and system, how we can create steps, checklist, benchmarks, KPIs, how we can create all those when we don't have the vision, when we don't have the goal. And always when I'm coming into companies, they are like husband and wife working together. And I was like, you both want something different from the business. You will never go the same way. There will be never the right implementation. You will be always busy. That means everything what we do, we start with vision, we start with goals, we start with our beliefs, we start with mindset. And I will give you an example probably from my story. Last 3 years, I just feel like that will be probably better emotional connection because this is very pragmatic. Let's do example. I had really, really huge traumatic experience. Like last 3 years, I was going through IVFs, ectopic pregnancies. I was going through a lot of hard things in my life. Like, I miscarried every year a few times because I was going through IVF, and I was just doing cycle by cycle after cycle after cycle. And while I was doing that, I was on hormones and I became crazy. I felt like I'm crazy because I changed totally my beliefs. I created story in my head that my partner doesn't love me because I can't have kids. I created story that he will break up with me. I created so many stories that were my truth. They were so far away from his truth. But I believed in that. That means I changed the environment totally. I changed my beliefs about myself. I felt fat, ugly. I felt I'm not needed. I felt like nobody cares. There is no reason for me to be in the world. It felt, I was so lost. I never been like that. Coming from the life that I love my life, I was traveling, I always had business and I love my life. Now 3 years of my life became absolutely opposite beliefs. I even became jealous. That means all that environment that I'm just explaining changed, and I couldn't do business properly. I couldn't connect with people. I spoke with customers. I went for meetings, I was doing, but there was no result. People didn't want to be around me because they feel your energy. If you don't have the right mindset, right beliefs, right intentions, people will always feel that is something wrong. That is like, I don't want to buy from this girl. And it was, terrible, because when you think about that, you have story about your partner, now your business is not growing. That means you're kind of stuck. And my partner in front of my eyes was putting on a weight. He put on the weight 15 kilos. He was depressed. And it was one day when I was just thinking, this is all going wrong. Something is wrong. I had this click when I saw him. And I was like, I don't want him to be like this because of me. I don't want to have this impact on people. I made people happy. I made people smile. And now I made him cry and I made him depressed. I know we always say we can't make anyone, something, but he was my mirror. I saw him and I was like, wow, like, I don't know how I can change him, but I couldn't. And again, coming back to environment, I was thinking, you know what? I will need to change my story because I feel like crap. I feel bad. I had anxiety and I saw him every morning wake up, feeling crap. He was eating pizza. He was a professional athlete before, just to give you an example of how he changed. He was eating pizza now. We never really drink a lot, but he was drinking beer sometimes and he didn't exercise. And I saw it. I was super sad. And the point is, I started to look at my environment and I started to implement small things. I started to change the story. And I was thinking, okay, not how I can change him, but how I can change myself. And I was like, pick up one thing that you love to do, one thing that you didn't do forever, like one thing that you did when you were a young child, dancing, painting, being with friends, jumping, whatever it is for you. Just do anything that you can do and start to change yourself. Because through the activities that we love, we will find ourselves, we will connect to ourselves. And I started to recreate beliefs, values, everything which was that in the environment. I will kind of like move fast forward because we didn't have enough time, but it took me a year. It took me a year. Just don't expect everything happen in 1 second. But instead of implementation and doing, I am being. I'm absolutely being here with you. I'm looking at your faces and I love it. And now I can see his face and I love it because he is actually super happy. He's exercising. He lost probably 17 kilos last year. I took him through a challenge and we did like a healthy stuff, healthy food. He's a different person. He's exercising every day. It's bothering me because I'm not doing that every day. But he's just amazing. And I realized that I'm smiling. He has a better day. That means don't forget to smile. Don't forget to be you. And change your story if the story doesn't serve you, because you need story that will serve you to be happy. And when you are happy, other people are happy. And we don't need to actually put any effort to change them. We don't need to try to change anyone. Our kids are watching us. Our friends are watching us all the time. And I can see it. People are coming to me now like, hey, what did you do, Alex? That's amazing. That sounds so cool. Oh my God, like you open an office. That's awesome. And people just see what I do. They're contacting me, writing messages. You don't need to look for clients. They will come when you will change your story, when you will change your environment. That means start to think about anything in your business and life through the eyes of quality, intention, values, beliefs, standards. who you want to be instead of what you want to do. That's the most important message probably from critical alignment model that I would love to share. And look, I'm doing a lot of thinking and behavior profile. I don't want to end up on that note, because if you will need anything, or if you will feel like you want to find out what is your preference of thinking, I'm happy to chat about that with you. But today, the major message was just to really, really try to be more than do. Thank you very much.